Well, like I've just said, I've had this bow for probably about a year now. I did a couple of modifications to it. I had a piece of string for a hand grip, and so I can hold the bow open-handed and know I'm not going to drop it when it's finished. It hangs quite nicely from there. It also helps you to grip in the same place every time. That's just held on with some bowstring and a bit of super glue to hold it in place. I added string silencers, one at each end, which actually made it a lot quieter. And that's pretty much it for modifications. The knock point is a single knock point, and I knock the arrows to the bottom of it. As you can see, the string is getting a bit worn and tattered, but it's still not through to the actual string. It's still only the guard that's worn and tattered. One thing I've noticed with this bow over other recurves that I've shot, even with a brace height of 5.5 to 6 inches, depending on where you measure it from. I'm not really entirely sure where you're supposed to measure it from, but if you measure it from the back, it's 5.5. If you measure it from there, it's 6. That's quite a short brace height. Even with a brace height, or with a brace height like that, this bow shoots very fast indeed. The arrow is gone out of the bow in a second, and I think it makes it more difficult to shoot accurately. In the time I've owned this bow, I've easily put more than 2,000 arrows through it, and I actually really like it. It's so simple. All you need is a glove. Although I've got a wrist guard, I don't wear it because I'm so used to shooting it now. The bow doesn't actually come into contact with my wrist at all. I think I still struggle to keep my hand open when I'm shooting, and my anchor point as well. This is, I can't remember what it is, 45 pound at 28 inches, and I draw more like 31 to 32 inches, so I don't know, that probably adds an extra 4, maybe 5 pounds to it. So it's a 50 pound bow when I'm drawing it full, and it's actually, unless you use it every other day or you know, on a regular basis, it's quite painful to use. Over time, I've got a couple of carbon fibre splinters off of it. From one of these edges is a bit worn. I shouldn't really run my finger across it, and it's cracked. And you can also see, well, you might be able to see if you're getting close. If you can see, there's what looks to be dust along here. That grey is actually the flexing of the bow. Here, there's the cracks. I'll get it like this, try and get it to focus. The cracks on the edge. Now you can see the grey there as well. This is where the bow flexes. It's never unstrung. It's hung up on the shelf like that, or hangs up on a pair of hooks, one here and one here, like that. It's never unstrung, so it's always under stress. But I actually really like it. If I had to run out of the house in an emergency and my life was depending on anything, I think I'd probably take this one, even though I can't shoot it as well as I can shoot a compound bow. I just prefer it to any of the other bows I've got. And I've got a standard training recurve, this one, and a compound. Well worth the 120 odd quid that it cost. Like I say, I think it could do with a new string, but I don't think it really needs it now. It's a bit frayed down here, but it's only a bit frayed. We've only lost probably one thread, and it's a 12 or 14 thread string. I did have a couple of incidents where I think I'd not strung it properly originally. You can see there's a bit of a twist there. And what happened was, as I went to draw it, this seemed to slip off the side when it was at full draw. But this was actually, instead of this line following down here like this, it was actually crossed over, and for about an inch. Both sides of the loop were on one side. That was a very shocking and painful experience because the bow snapped back, the string whipped over and got me in the back of the ear, and the arrow came back and hit me in the chin. So I spent about half an hour de-stringing it, untwisting the string to make sure that it was at least as even as I could get it, and you can see both ends now. That end is perfect. This end is about half a twist out. If you see what I mean by twists, you see the way that opens out properly, and you can also see the way that's twisted is encouraging this part of the loop to slip over. But that's the only incident I've had with it. It has a shelf built into it. I was hoping to get a bow without a shelf so that I could hand rest, but like I've said many times, I really like this bow. It's really nice to shoot. It's incredibly powerful. This is a backing plate. I took a few shots at this plate with just standard jazzy arrows, 1632s I think they are, with that bow. This is about 1.5mm thick, and it punched clean through. The arrow was sticking out the back about that far, so that'll easily punch through the side of a car door and probably all the furniture on the inside. I wouldn't want to try it with a wooden arrow because that would probably destroy it, but like I say, it's a very powerful little bow. Oh, I've got the cats off. What? Yeah. I don't know if you can hear this. What? But the cat's decided it wants to go in the loft. Basically, you can see a cupboard door open, and the cupboard door normally means the loft's going to be open. So the cat is now sitting in the hallway going, yeah, I want to go in the loft, but she's not going to. Anyway, just a quick recap. I think it's £45 at 28 inches. I draw it to about 30, 31, 32, so it's probably being drawn to about maybe £50. That pretty much matches my compound, which is a £60 bow, but obviously a compound's got about 70% let off at full draw. This actually gets harder the further you pull it. I've shot about probably 2,000 arrows through it in the time I've had it. I've had one complete disaster with it, which was, as I said, when the string come off. There is some funny markings appearing where the bow flexes the most, because when you draw this fully, it really does flex a lot. I'll give you a quick example. If I point over there and I draw it to full draw with my fingers, this go up, and draw it to full draw, you can see it flexes an awful lot. But aside from that, I would recommend to anyone that's thinking about buying one to go and buy one. Don't wait around. I think this was the second generation of bows from this particular company. It's an Asian company, I think. I don't think these are Chinese. And I've got nothing but good things to say about it. It's brilliant, lovely bow, lovely to shoot, very fast to shoot, incredibly powerful for the size of it. I'll get the scales out and we check the weight. So we got 300 grams. I don't know where the unit thing is. So I guess that's probably 0.6 of a pound, so it weighs less than a pound. That's ounces, grams, pounds and ounces, kilos, pound. Yeah, so it weighs less than a pound. You can't really go wrong. You can relatively easily throw it over your shoulder. It doesn't sit particularly well on me because I'm so tall, but if you're out wandering with it, you can put it over your shoulder like that, and the string tension holds it. The string tension holds it pretty much in place. A bit of modification somewhere would afford you a piece of string around here to attach to your lapel or go around under your other armpit to stop it sliding off that way. But you barely even know you're carrying it, it's so light. So in pounds, all told, the bow and the arrows are just under £1 as far as I can see with that. So that's not a bad carry weight. So as far as I'm concerned, if you're thinking about buying one of these, stop thinking and go and buy one, because it is an excellent little bow. Excellent little bow. Thanks for taking the time to watch, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.